Remain seated, please. Permanecer sentados, por favor.
Matterhorn Matt presents Matterhorn Mondays.
I just slammed my wrist down on my mouse. Welcome, everybody, to episode 86 of Matterhorn Mondays. I'm your host, Matterhorn Matt.
And I'm Alex the Historian.
And before we get started, I would like to run to the room right behind me, turn on my fan. I guarantee I'll only be gone for under 10 seconds. So you guys can count down while I'm gone. 10.
Well, folks, anyway, this is going to be a really good episode. We got some great stuff for you.
I made it. I'm here. It's really hot in here, guys. I just had to turn that fan on. And I didn't want to turn on the smaller fan because I didn't want the fan to be on the microphone. But yeah, what is the temperature outside even? It's 86 outside. Wow. That's crazy. Anyways, we hope you all had a fantastic week. But it is still that week that may or may not be fantastic for you. So we hope we can continue on the fantastic week that you've... Sometimes I just start talking and I don't even know.
He starts down that trail but doesn't know where it ends.
Exactly. I feel like there was something I had to say. Oh, well, the shirt, my normal shirt's dirty, and I felt like this would be the most appropriate replacement for it. I feel like there was something else I had to say to you guys. But anyways, before we get started with news from the peak, I would like to say that this episode of Matterhorn Mondays is sponsored by all of my lovely patrons. And the Patreon will be updated within the next couple weeks. Because if you guys don't know, I do have a job. And I can actually pay for... I can actually buy stickers for our patrons. Because I've been promising stickers and custom pins for them for a very long time. And that's finally going to happen within the next month and a half or so. But if you guys would like to donate to the channel, you can do so, like I said, patreon.com/MatterhornMatt. And then we also do have a Discord server. Wonderful, lovely, very lovely, wonderful Discord server, you guys. The Discord server, the link will be in the description down below if you'd like to join. And I also do have a Twitter and Instagram. Links to those will also be down in the description below. And if you are looking for more family-friendly live streams, you guys can head on over to theliveplace.com. Link will be in the description below. Liveplace.com is sort of a... I don't even know what it's a website that hosts a bunch of other different Disney and non-Disney YouTube streamers like myself. We host Matterhorn Mondays there, as well as Resort TV 1. If you guys don't know who Resort TV 1 is, really great channel. You can check them out over at the Live Place. And if you guys, like I said, would like to join my Discord server, you can do !Discord, !Patreon, or !Donate to donate directly to Matterhorn Mondays live streams. I feel like I should start off with those exclamation ones. But anyways, also...
You said Discord about 10 times.
I said Discord a lot of times. Hopefully I won't have to mention it again this episode. But if you guys would like to be wished a happy birthday live on the show, you can do so by submitting your name and birthday using the form down below. Or if you're watching live, you can do !birthday and fill out the Google form. And there were no birthdays. Yes. Oh, it was Steve's birthday, right?
Yes, it was Steve's birthday.
Yes.
So I guess that makes it 2. There's another birthday. Do you know?
Walt Disney.
Do you know it all? Are you kidding me?
Pinocchio. Bob Chapek.
Okay, well, I'll give you a hint. It wasn't this week. It's next week.
It wasn't this week. It's next week. Well, next week is the start of May, right? So whose birthday is on May is in May. Is it your birthday, Alex?
Yes.
Oh, I knew it all along. I was just tricking you guys. Happy early birthday, Mr. Alex the Historian. I totally knew that.
Alex the Historian is going to be turning 27 years old on May 2nd.
Wow, I'm only 20 years younger than Alex. That's crazy to think, you guys. Also, big shout out to Steve. His birthday was this past, I believe it was Friday or Thursday. I can't remember when he texted me.
It was Friday.
It was Friday. Okay, I was right the first time. So happy birthday to Steve, who is in the chat currently, saying hello to everybody. And if you guys would like, you can go ahead and leave a review for Matterhorn Mondays on iTunes. We only have only a handful of reviews on iTunes. I'm going to go ahead and paste the link down in the chat currently. And I forgot to put the link in last week's description. But this week, the link to review the Matterhorn Mondays podcast on iTunes will be in the description. And before we get into this week's news from the peak, it feels like I haven't done a podcast in so long, you guys. I'm so sorry. But we're going to get into this week's fan favorite segment, Matt Snaps. This is, of course, peach tea. Can't go wrong with the peach. Let's see, here we go. There you guys go. And this is real fact number 473. Antarctica has as much ice as the Atlantic Ocean has water. Now that is a sight to behold, you guys. Have you ever been to Antarctica? I have, and it was cold. Let me tell you. It was cold.
It was so cold, it literally burned all the pigment off of Matt's skin. That's why he's so pale.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
This is going to be a weird day.
Yeah, it's just one of those days, you guys. I think it's the heat for me. I don't know. Maybe I'm dehydrated. I guess Snapple wouldn't do many favors if I'm dehydrated, because it's like, how many grams of sugar does this have? 39 grams of sugar. That's a lot of sugar, you guys. But anyways, we're going to go ahead and move on to this week's segment of News from the Peak.
We now present to you news from the Peak.
And for our first bit of news from the Peak, Avengers Endgame has had the biggest opening day in the history of movies ever. As of yesterday, or I believe as of this morning, Avengers Endgame has made $156.7 million. Oh, this was just for Friday. It's Friday opening. That's how much money Endgame made this past Friday. This makes it the biggest opening day in history, and it also passes The Force Awakens opening day, which only made a measly $119 million. Like, come on. Star Wars, what are you doing?
Wait, did they say how much money Endgame made on opening day?
$156.7 million.
Wow.
Yeah, you guys. And it's also on track to make, I'm not sure if this is domestic or if this is global, $300 million that's opening weekend. I'm assuming that's domestic because it's already way past that, I think, for global revenue. I could be wrong. All you number crunchers in the chat and in the comments, correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, I saw Endgame on Friday. It was amazing. And the only thing I have to say about it is that it was the best movie I've ever seen, because I don't really consider this a spoiler, but Hulk dabs in the movie, you guys. That automatically makes it the best movie in the entire world for me. And yeah, Endgame is really, it's on track to beat Titanic as well as Avatar for I think, what is it, like all-time box office revenue? We'll see. For our second bit of news from the Peak, Sleeping Beauty walkthrough in Disneyland is set to reopen on May 28th, you guys. That is only, I think that's 3 days before the opening of Galaxy's Edge. So they're really cutting it close there. I don't believe there has been any word on when the scrims from the castle will be down.
I don't know if they've said the exact day that the scrims will be down, but supposedly it'll be down a week or two before that.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, so the outside will be visible before the inside is. And honestly, I can account for that because when I was there yesterday, they were already putting the gold toppers on top of the spires, which means that they're pretty much done.
Yeah, I did see that they were also, I think, taking down some of the scrims around the castle to sort of showcase the new color scheme, which we'll get into more probably next week. Alex didn't have any footage for that this week, but yeah, next week we'll be getting into that most likely. And for our last bit of news from the Peak, all you Goofy movie fans out there, the Goofy movie is now available on Blu-ray, everybody. It's been years. I've been waiting years for a Goofy movie to be on Blu-ray.
Oh my god.
I know.
I'm going on Amazon right now, and I'm going to put that on my wish list.
I'm not even going to put it on my wish list. It's going straight to my cart, and then it's coming straight to my front door. Or I guess I could just download it, but anyways.
Look who has money.
Along with the Goofy movie, it's not so great. I haven't seen the second one, actually. Anyways.
Wait, it's not on Amazon.
No, it's on, I probably should have said this. It's on the Disney Movie Club website. It's not on Amazon yet.
What?
Yeah, so if... Blu-ray nonetheless, but along with the Goofy movie, its 2000 sequel, An Extremely Goofy Movie, is also now on Blu-ray on Disney Movie Club. Is that DisneyMovieClub.com? The world may never know because I don't have the tab open. But anyways, Pirate Bay, Nate says. I don't pirate, you guys. I'm a good, hard-working citizen of the United States of America, and I would never in my entire life download something illegally. Nor have I ever in the past. You guys just ignore the folder on my desktop called Pirated Movies. It's just to throw the FBI off, but...
I think Matt was crossing his fingers so hard right then that I could actually hear his bones breaking from here.
Yeah, and you guys couldn't see me anyway, so I may or may not have been crossing my fingers. So, anyways, moving on, we do have Alex's weekly segment, Alex in the Parks, and I do believe Alex would like to talk a little bit about a recently opened show in California Adventure. So why don't you take it away, Alex?
What show? I'm just kidding. Okay, so yesterday, Chris surprised me with a text saying that Mickey's PhilharMagic was opening that morning. And he texted me this once I got to the park at 8 a.m. And he was telling me that he was waiting in line and Mickey's PhilharMagic wasn't open yet. They weren't ready. So, which is kind of funny. Like, how are you not ready for a pre-recorded show? But anyway, yeah. So later on that day, I was hanging out with Steamboat Steve because it was his birthday. So, we all went over to DCA to go experience Mickey's PhilharMagic. Now, I've seen this show at Walt Disney World. I was in Walt Disney World back in 2006, and me and my family went to go see the show. And I remember being totally blown away by it, not necessarily because of what happened on screen, but because of the music and just the nice classic Disney feel that the show had to it. I really liked it that way. But even in 2006, I thought the show had like really bad graphics. But anyway, so when we went to see this show yesterday, a lot of it was just as I remember. But sadly, they didn't update the graphics. And nothing you saw on screen was updated. And so because of that, And because of the fact that at Walt Disney World, they have a nearly 360-degree screen. And then, but here in DCA, our screen is just like right in front of you. And then they have like maybe like 6 or 8 smaller screens on your left and right. And so because of that, the images were really broken up into all these different screens, which were separated by these fake support columns on the inside of the theater. So it just was kind of weird the way that that it was kind of set up. And then, and like I was trying to say, because the graphics were never updated, they're actually pretty low definition. And because they're low definition, they actually had to reduce the size of the projected image on the screen down to about 1/4 the size of the screen itself. So that's like trying to watch like Matterhorn Mondays, but inside the little window that Matt's face appears in on your screen. Like it was just ridiculously small. And they tried to cover up the fact that they cropped it down by like projecting like fake curtains around the image. So it was kind of awkward, but the music was just as I remember. It was really good. The show was really good. And a last thing I wanted to say about it was that so I noticed that like the music was not synchronized well with the movement of the characters' lips and stuff like that, which I'm sure is something they'll probably fix in the next day or so. And then lastly is I felt like the show was a bit shorter. Like I kind of if I remember correctly, there was like 1 or 2 more segments to the show than what we actually saw. The show that we saw, I'm pretty sure was like 12 minutes long or less. As a matter of fact, Chris shot a video and posted it on his channel of the Mickey's PhilharMagic show. So if you guys ever get a chance to see that, I suggest you see it. And I'm looking right now to see how long the show was. And yep, it was under 12 minutes long. I'm pretty sure the show at Walt Disney World was 15 minutes long. So anyway, it was a shorter show. But it's worth checking it out. And it's a lot better than having just a preview center in that theater.
I don't know, Alex. I'm going to miss all those movie previews they show, because how else am I going to know if I want to see A Wrinkle in Time if I don't see the Wrinkle in Time preview in the DCA preview theater? I don't know. That's just my opinion.
Steve thought that movie was called A Twinkle in Time.
A Twinkle in...
Really funny.
Really?
Like,
A Twinkle in Time.
Like, Steve.
Well then. Anyways, well... yeah, I haven't experienced... I did see Mickey's PhilharMagic in the Magic Kingdom when I visited a few years ago. It was pretty neat. Was it one of the... I think it was one of the ones where you have to have 3D glasses, right? At least in the Magic Kingdom.
Yes. So yeah, this show is in 3D. And you know what was really weird? Was like you'd think that people were so used to 3D, right? Like you'd think like, 3D is a thing of the past. Like we've had it since even before Captain EO, right? You know, so it's just like, but the weird thing was when the show started, and you can even ask like Steve, everybody in the theater reached their arms out towards the characters. Like they wanted, I'm not even kidding. Every single last person in the theater did it. And I was looking around like, what? Like, you know, like that's so weird. Like these people act like this is new, like this is new technology or something. But it might have had something to do with the fact that we haven't had a 3D theater show in the parks in a couple of years now. So maybe people just forgot.
When was the last 3D? Was it Captain EO? That was the last 3D show in Disneyland?
I think it was Tough to Be a Bug. Maybe?
Oh yeah. Well,
was the last one?
Well, that's 4D.
But
that's not 3D.
Okay. Look, if you're gonna be like, okay, so Mickey's PhilharMagic was in 4D. Okay, they had smells, they had
Oh.
water, they had stuff like that. The smells was actually pretty cool. They had a section where like they did the song from Beauty and the Beast, the Be Our Guest song, and you could smell the food and stuff like that, and then several times we got sprayed with water for various reasons.
Could you smell Donald's feet after he crashed into the ceiling behind you guys when you exited the theater?
No, but I smelled the feet of the person next to me.
Was it Chris who was sitting next to you?
Oh my goodness, that would have been so much funnier.
Well,
oh, God.
Thank you, Mr. Alex, for giving your, I guess, review of Mickey's PhilharMagic. And yeah, like he said, Chris did, or I guess LMG Vids, if you don't know who Chris is. LMG Vids did put out a video of Mickey's PhilharMagic on his channel. Go ahead and check that out. And before we get into our main topics for today, I would like to showcase a new piece of merchandise I'm going to be selling. I do have the prototype here, and I'm very excited to share with you all. This is the brand new Matterhorn Matte Super Glue, and as you can see, it has my face on it because Super Glue. This is going to be very cheap, you guys. This will be not on my Teespring. If you want to buy this, you will have to contact me directly via email, matterhornmattesuperglue@gmail.com. And yeah, it's going to be, like I said, really cheap, only $1.50 a bottle. And yeah, you get to, if you break your favorite pen, your favorite pot, or if you don't feel like buying Flex Seal, you can.
You guys, I think Matt is suffering some kind of breakdown. There's something going on here.
Matter Glue, the brand new Matterhorn Matter Glue. As you can see, like I said, my face will be on it, just like that. And look how amazing the bottle looks, you guys. The graphics, the detail, it just blew me away when
they almost pop out at you.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, anyways, if you guys are interested in buying this, like I said, Matterhorn Matte Super Glue, that's not the right screen, Matterhorn Matte Super Glue at gmail.com, and only $1.20. Did I say $1.50 or $1.25? $1.50. It's small and compact. You can take it on your Disneyland trip. Super glue Mickey's butt to the ground when he's in the parade. Anyways, I don't even know. We're going to move on to our main topics for today. Yeah, we do have a few main topics that we want to get into today, starting with the brand new date. You guys want me to sniff the super glue? I'm sorry. I mean, I would. This is special super glue. It's strawberry flavored, so I wouldn't hesitate sniffing it. But since I already have my Snapple, it sort of counteracts.
And since this is a family-friendly show.
Anyways, Disney did reveal the reservation date for Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, and reservations for the land will go live on May 2nd. Nate said Galaxy's Edge talk. Oh, hey. Wow, do you think they knew? And then
I think they knew, Matt. Honestly,
they did
I think they knew
specifically for. Dang. Well, kudos to Disney. You know, I feel like would be a fun segment. Would be like prank calling some Disney execs. I mean, their phone numbers have to be like on Yelp or something, right? What if we could like get Bob Iger's like office extension, and then we could prank call him, like live on stream? Guys, get on that, please. I feel like that would make for a wonderful segment. Anyways, where was I? Alex's birthday, May 2nd, as well as the reservations for Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. And yeah, Star Wars Galaxy's Edge talk is kind of, petered out at this point just because we've been speculating on it for, like 4 years at this point. And with all the new details they've released this past year and the end of last year, I believe. So yeah, I can totally see people sort of getting burnt out on Galaxy's Edge news, but we'll keep this brief just because it's not, big details. But yeah, like I said, May 2nd is when Galaxy's Edge Reservations will be live, and if you are not caught up on the reservations for Galaxy's Edge, you will only need a reservation if you visit Galaxy's Edge during May 31st and June 23rd. After that, you will not need a reservation. And there is like a little asterisk. I think it's asterisk that they put, like the little star thing. Yeah. It says guests staying at a Disneyland Resort Hotel between May 31st and June 23rd, 2019 will receive a designated reservation to access Star Wars Galaxy's Edge during their stay. One reservation per registered guest. Each guest is required to have valid theme park admission. If the hotel reservation is canceled, then the Star Wars Galaxy's Edge reservation will be canceled as well. Access to certain experiences in the land are subject to capacity and other factors. So yeah, if you guys are trying to cheat the system, get a reservation for the Disneyland Resort Hotel just for the Star Wars reservation, and then you cancel your hotel. You guys, it's not going to work like that. I'm sure people thought of doing that, and that's, they had to address it. But yeah, this is courtesy of the DisneyParksBlog.com. Actually, it's disneyparks.disney.go.com/blog. So not as straightforward as you think, but this other piece of Galaxy's Edge news comes to us from blogmickey.com. And they do say Disneyland Hotel guests will only have 4 hours in Galaxy's Edge. That's the amount of time allotted for their reservation. So yeah, I figured it would be a lot shorter than that, to be honest. 4 hours is a pretty big chunk of your day, depending on how you spend your day at Disneyland. But Alex, I don't think there's anything else to add to this. But Alex, what are your thoughts on the new reservation details revealed from Disney?
It's pretty much what I expected, and but there is a big question going through people's head right now, which is, if you're given 4 hours, and the estimated wait time for Smuggler's Run is going to be 5 hours, then how are you going to be able to experience the land? Well, it's quite simple for anyone who's asking this question. They will still let the people who get in line before the end of their 4th hour wait in line for the full amount to get on the ride. They're not going to kick you out of the line just because you've reached your 4th hour mark. So, as long as you get in line before then you'll be fine. However, just so you know, if you get in line just before your 4th hour ends, the line is gonna increase exponentially because everyone else is doing it too. Everyone else wants to spend the first 3.5 hours exploring Galaxy's Edge and then spend the last half hour getting in line. So it's like, it's gonna get even longer. So, what I plan to do is I plan to not even go on Smuggler's Run. I would rather wait 10 years. And believe me, I did wait 10 years before I went on what was it called? What's it called? The Toy Story Midway Mania. So Toy Story Midway Mania opened in 2007, and I told myself I would wait till the crowds died down. Yeah, that didn't happen. And after 10 years, I was just kind of like, okay, I need to go on this ride because this is getting ridiculous. Like, I've waited a decade to go on this ride, and the crowds have never died down on it. So yeah, I just went. But yeah, I would rather wait to go on Smuggler's Run, and I'd rather just experience Galaxy's Edge and get pictures and video and just enjoy the ambiance and the food. So that's what I plan to do.
Well, I was thinking exactly what you were saying. I was thinking, oh, well, then you could just get in line for Smuggler's Run with like 5 minutes left on your reservation. But now that you mentioned that everybody else is going to be doing that, I don't know. I guess you guys will have to come up with a different plan if you want to get on the only attraction in the land.
Which is funny if you think about it, because like every 4 hours, the line is gonna get 4 hours longer, and then it's gonna and then over the course of the next 4 hours, the line's gonna get shorter and shorter and shorter, but then go up 4 hours again. So that's gonna be really hilarious.
Yeah, again, I can't wait for this land to open, just to see all the chaos that's gonna unfold. I feel like I'm sounding like the Joker from The Dark Knight. That's not intentional. How does the Joker go? My father with the scars. Anyways, yeah, Galaxy's Edge. Can't wait to see your videos for it, Alex, because I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it, but I will end up going to Galaxy's Edge at some point this year, I'm sure. I guess that's really it for that. There hasn't been a lot of Galaxy's Edge news released this week.
Maybe if one of your viewers really wants, they can sponsor your trip to California to visit Galaxy's Edge on opening day.
Well, now
you never know.
That is
some generous people.
That is a high diddly D. Wonderful idea. I'm not saying you guys should, but I'm also not saying you guys shouldn't, if that makes any sense. Wink, wink. I can't wink, so I have to say wink. Anyways, moving on to our second bit of news. This is sort of breaking news, you guys. I didn't expect this to happen just because last week we were talking about this. But Mickey's Mixed Magic will be ending its run on June 6th of 2019. And yeah, we were just talking about Mickey's Mixed Magic just last episode. Sort of the future of nighttime spectacular shows at the Disneyland Resort. And you guys will never guess what show is taking Mickey's Mixed Magic's place. You'd think it would be, what's that one that's been running for years and years that Mickey's Mixed Magic replaced? It's not Wish. It's Wishes.
Remember Dreams Come True.
Yeah, that's it. Not Wishes. You'd think it'd be that, right? But no. The 60th.
Well, no, because Disneyland Forever is the new Remember Dreams Come True.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Well,
yeah.
I guess spoilers, but the 60th anniversary Disneyland Forever Fireworks Spectacular will be returning the day after Mickey's Mixed Magic closes on June 7th. Now, this is wonderful news. I know Alex is not a big fan of this particular Fireworks Spectacular nighttime extravagant show, but I haven't seen it in a while. I do remember seeing it during when we visited for the 60th anniversary, and I liked it. But I do like Remember Dreams Come True a lot better. I wish they'd bring that back, but I guess it's aging, getting kind of old, and yeah, I guess Disneyland Forever is sort of its successor, if you guys want to call it that. But Alex, what are your thoughts on Disneyland Forever returning, replacing Mickey's Mixed Magic?
I feel like that show has been running at Disneyland forever.
Oh my gosh. You see, guys, there's humor in this episode. It's not just me acting like an idiot. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like Disneyland Forever will be a great replacement again, like I said. I'm going to miss Remember Dreams Come True, but it's also interesting because, like I said last week, we were just talking about how Disney will most likely phase out all of their fireworks shows within the next coming years of Star Wars Land opening and Mickey and Minnie's running.
Yes, but we're going to talk about that in a second.
Oh yeah. Oh, we are. That's right. Also,
Don't forget it's our main topics.
Yeah, we do have we do have a lot of stuff to get into after these two sort of secondary topics. Because if we didn't have this next topic, the show would be over right now. And you guys don't want that. It's only been, how long has it been so far? It's only been 40, oh wow, flew by. I guess it hasn't been too short. Oh, like someone's trash can was like slamming on the ground outside. I don't know if you guys heard that. But anyways,
Nope.
What was I saying? Oh yeah, we were just talking about that last week, which is very interesting. And I felt like there was something else I had to add to this topic. But I guess not. I guess we'll just move on. All right. Well, since this is all Alex's information, he told it to me in secrecy while I was at work the other day. So Alex, why don't you go ahead and sort of explain what this topic is regarding? And this is a big topic, you guys.
We're talking about the topic regarding the topic I was just telling you about the topic of, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So just making sure I'm on the right page. Okay. Okay, people. So we got a lot of interesting, I'm going to call it rumor, because if I called it fact, then people would just get angry, even though it is a fact. But we'll call it a rumor. So anywho, I've actually spoken to two different people who have pitched in what they've heard. And anyway, so we'll get into what it is. So there is rumor that before Disneyland's 65th birthday next year, a quick refurbishment will be happening at Fantasyland. The Snow White the Snow White and Pinocchio attractions will undergo some slight special effects upgrades with new projection effects along the lines of the Shanghai Peter Pan's Flight attraction. So if you've ever seen a video of the Peter Pan's Flight in Shanghai, we're thinking along those guidelines. And so this means that Disney actually plans to keep Snow White and Pinocchio as Fantasyland rides for the time being. Now, I know a lot of us have probably thought, for a while, oh my goodness, are they ever going to get rid of Snow White and Pinocchio, because those are the least popular Fantasyland dark rides. And while they are, I do believe that they are only least popular by a small fraction, due to the fact that they have really aged special effects. And so if we bring it into the modern day, such as what we did with Alice in Wonderland and parts of Peter Pan's Flight, I think that we'll eventually have these two awesome new rides. So now, something else I didn't put in the notes, Matt, because this wasn't from information I learned exactly from fact. So like I said, this is rumor control, but this is a side rumor I just remembered. So there's been a lot of talk by everybody that Mr. Toad's Wild Ride will be on the chopping block. And so far, it seems like that is still the ongoing rumor. And the idea being that Peter Pan's Flight will expand into part of Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, and there might be an indoor queue for Peter Pan's Flight. But that rumor is probably one of the least likely things to happen of all the things I'm about to mention. Okay, so anyway, back to what I was saying. Okay, so Snow White and Pinocchio will stay for the long run in Fantasyland with just some upgrades and things like that for the modern age. Now, in the long run, in the far future, probably before Disneyland's 70th anniversary, we may be looking at a new dark ride replacing the Fantasyland Theater over by the Mickey's Toontown Depot. So that's also something that Imagineering is looking at. Now, we were talking just a few minutes ago about fireworks shows at Disneyland. And I think it comes to no surprise to any of us that Disney will be phasing out the big fireworks shows. Granted, there will still be fireworks shows on July 4th and even New Year's Eve, for people that come for the fireworks. But on a weekend basis, there will be shows that you are really distracting me with your images on screen. Okay, so what was I saying? Okay, so like the fireworks that will happen on the weekends will be replaced with shows of other types of special effects. It could be water shows, it could be projection shows, it could be any other type of show. And it may still include lower altitude fireworks, the kinds that they launch directly from the castle, the ones that don't go too high into the air. So those might still, show up in shows from now on. But the idea is that by the time Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway opens in Mickey's Toontown, they're going to want to keep Mickey's Toontown open late into the night. And so because of that, they don't want to have to close Toontown for fireworks shows. Now, they can't move the fireworks launch area any further north because then the fireworks could land on Ball Road or the freeway. So there's literally nowhere else to move the firework launch area. And so basically the only choice for them was, well, we got to start phasing out these big fireworks shows. And honestly, that doesn't come as much of a surprise, especially since we're, Disney is trying to be more environmentally friendly, and those fireworks put out a lot of sulfur and a lot of chemicals into the air at night. So anyway, this to me is good news. Fireworks shows are awesome, but there's a lot of other technologies today that we can utilize for entertainment that are a lot easier on the wallet and the environment. So, okay. So that takes care of the information we've heard from Fantasyland. Now into Tomorrowland, the real meat and the bones of this.
Alex, please don't say that because I'm starving, and that just made me very hungry for some meat and some bones. Anyways,
yes, some like really juicy, well-seasoned meat, maybe some barbecue sauce lathered all over it.
Mm-hmm.
The smell of the barbecue going in the background. Okay, so anyway, we have Tomorrowland information. Once again, I must reiterate, this is technically considered a rumor because Disney has not officially announced any of this. But there is talk that by Disneyland's 70th anniversary in the year 2025, Tomorrowland would have just finished a multi-phase redo of Tomorrowland. And I'm going to read directly from my notes because I'm probably going to mess up what I want to tell you, and I don't want you to lose any information. So, the phases so the project will be done in phases. So that way certain rides are still accessible while others are being worked on or even demolished. So things like Space Mountain are high priority attractions that they want to keep open as long as they can before it has to undergo refurbishment itself. So that's why they're doing these phases. And honestly, it makes a lot of sense. And let's see. Okay, so the idea is, wait, hold on here. Okay, so one of the first things we're going to see, which probably doesn't pertain to the whole redo of Tomorrowland, but the new Star Wars movie, like Skywalker Awakens or something, is going to be coming out next year. And so likely the Magic Eye Theater will show a preview for that movie. And honestly, this probably doesn't come as a surprise either because Magic Eye Theater has been a preview center for a while now. It's been showing movies that are coming out that are related maybe to the future or science fiction. So anyway, that's the first thing we're going to see from Magic Eye Theater when it comes back from refurbishment is most likely a Skywalker themed preview. And like I said in the last podcast, there's also rumor that a new FastPass distribution center for all of Tomorrowland will be in front of the Magic Eye Theater. The idea being that instead of having to go to individual rides to get your FastPass, you can just walk up to one place and get your FastPass, and you'll always know where that place is, and it just takes a lot of walking out of the equation. Okay,
before you move on from that, I didn't get to mention this last week, but I feel like if once they finally do go through with that FastPass distribution center, that could also open the possibility of adding FastPasses to other attractions in Tomorrowland. I mean, I guess the only other attraction that would, the only attractions, I guess I should say, in Tomorrowland are Space Mountain, which already has a FastPass, and there's Utopia, there's the submarines, which don't have FastPasses, and if once they do go through with that, like I said, they can add FastPasses for any other attraction they decide to build in Tomorrowland.
Indeed.
So I just felt like I didn't get to mention that last week, but anyways, continue.
Okay. So back to what I was saying, that by 2025 there may be a whole redo of Tomorrowland. The refurbishment would include downsizing Tomorrowland, actually making it smaller. And so basically, from what a few people have said, everything north of the monorail station will likely no longer be part of Tomorrowland. That will be the northern border of Tomorrowland, is the monorail station. And that northern area will be open to any other project that Disney decides to put in its place. There's no official word yet as to what that area might be. But in any case, that's a future expansion pad. Now we're going to focus on everything south of the monorail station. The reason why Disney wants to downsize Tomorrowland is so that way we can keep it more manageable when it comes to upgrades or new ideas, preventing the land from becoming big and empty like it was just prior to 1998. Because if anybody remembers, just prior to 1998, we had no People Mover, we had no America Sings, we had Captain EO in the Magic Eye Theater, but Captain EO was not even popular.
That's all you need, though, to be completely honest. If it was just Tomorrowland with only Captain EO, I feel like that'd be an accomplishment. Anyways.
There was also America the Beautiful show, which drew nobody in. And then the subs closed. So Tomorrowland was a big empty place back then. And so Disney wants to prevent that from happening again. And the way to do that is to downsize the land so it's more manageable and there's less rides. So if one gets shut down, it doesn't look like such a big empty place. So part of this is that the Tomorrowland entrance as we know it will be rebuilt, likely removing the Astro Orbiter from the front in order to increase walkway space. There's conflicting rumor about what will happen to Space Mountain, but I'm going to choose to talk about the one that I think is likely to happen from what I've heard, is that Space Mountain will stay the same ultimately, same ride track, same everything. Maybe some new upgrades to some special effects inside the actual Space Mountain. However, the current buildings that surround Space Mountain will eventually be demolished in order to make way for newer buildings, which will house an indoor queue with indoor pre-show. So that's likely to happen to Space Mountain with this refurbishment of Tomorrowland. Now, Pizza Planet and the Star Wars Launch Bay buildings, which are directly next to each other, are rumored to be demolished as part of this future project, and replaced with either a Tron coaster, which is going to wrap around a new jetpacks ride like the one in Shanghai, or it could be a relocated astro orbiter instead of the jetpacks. So the Tron ride might surround a newly repainted astro orbiter towards the back of the land. Okay. Or B, another source says that there could be some kind of new thrilling dark ride with attached table service restaurant that will be space themed. Now there's no specific ideas as to what dark ride this may be, but likely it will have to do with some kind of popular science fiction thing, anything that Disney has at the moment. And then, of course, a space-themed restaurant attached to it that will be table service, and it'll be kind of nice and fancy and kind of give an upgrade to the food in Tomorrowland. Let's see. Okay, so, but aside from all these long-term future plans spanning the next 5 or 6 years, it is possible that in the next year or so, I'm talking maybe sometime in 2020, after the hype of the movie Skywalker is finished, a replacement for Star Tours may be announced. Some believe that what's going to happen is an attraction replacing Star Tours will be an original idea. Whoa, mind blown. Okay, so an original idea, possibly science fiction or science fact based, and will probably utilize the same exact simulators and ride layout of Star Tours, with probably an upgrade to the queue area in order to make all of it indoors instead of halfway indoors, halfway outdoors. So those are the things I've heard for this Tomorrowland update. And I think it sounds really good, and I think it sounds really... There's more stuff I've heard, but some of it doesn't... I had to pick and choose what I wanted to talk about, because some of it kind of sounded like a bit far-fetched, but then again, some of it sounded really realistic. So anyway, I know a lot of people are wondering... Oh, as a matter of fact, Nate just asked, what about the People Mover? So I haven't heard any rumors on what's going to happen to the People Mover. All I know is that during this major refurbishment or overhaul of Tomorrowland, that the People Mover track will be torn down and demolished. Maybe not 100% of it, because some of it still weaves through the buildings, and depending on what buildings get torn down will depend on where the track is removed. But for the most part, the track that we can easily see from outdoors will supposedly be removed. And so it's possible, I'm not going to say it's impossible, but it's possible that Disney may want to install a brand new People Mover. But it's unlikely, because of the ride's nature. And the nature of the ride is that it's not very exciting. And unfortunately, with each passing year, the American public wants excitement more and more and more. So I don't know. In my personal humble opinion, after hearing all these rumors and trying to figure out which ones might be real, which ones might not be, I don't think there's any inclination that Disney will rebuild the People Mover. But yeah, so that was the rumor update. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Like, should I recap everything in a very simple manner?
Yeah, I feel like.
Okay, so to recap, everything south of the monorail station will be almost completely redone. Everything north of the monorail station will be bulldozed in order to make way for future expansion of possibly Fantasyland. But in Tomorrowland, we're looking at Star Tours eventually being replaced within the next 5 to 6 years, in order to create a science-based simulator attraction that will utilize the simulators. We're also looking at demolishing the Magic Eye Theater within the next 6 years, and then the surrounding buildings around Space Mountain becoming indoor queue and pre-show for Space Mountain. As for the Pizza Planet and Innoventions / Star Wars Launch Bay building, supposedly those two buildings will be demolished in order to make way for either a Tron-based roller coaster, which will have either the jetpacks or the Astro Orbiter in the middle of it, or I should say the roller coaster surrounding it. Or those two buildings will make way for a brand new science fiction-based dark ride that may possibly have an attached table service restaurant. And then as for things like Buzz Lightyear Astro Blasters, some people think Buzz Lightyear Astro Blasters is gonna be demolished. That whole building is gonna be demolished. But others believe it'll stay. It'll just be revamped with better special effects. I'm gonna say I think that revamping it with special effects is probably what's gonna happen to it. I don't see them demolishing that ride, only because they kind of need it. And let's see, anything else? Yes. So as for Autopia, supposedly there will be no more Autopia for Tomorrowland. It'll be gone. As for what happens to the Tomorrowland Railroad Station, I have no idea. It may be integrated into whatever they decide to do with the new Fantasyland area. You know, like, remember how I said everything north of the monorail station is going to be something else entirely? It's not even going to be part of Tomorrowland anymore. Well, it's possible that they may move the Disneyland Railroad Station a few hundred feet north in order to keep it as part of whatever expansion they decide to add to that area. So anyway, that is the rumors right now. And Ashley asked, does that mean Innoventions will finally be demolished? Yes, according to this rumor, no matter what happens, the Innoventions building will be demolished and replaced with an entirely new building.
Well, that sure is a lot of information. And there was a lot more that we left out, like Alex said.
There was a lot more that we left out.
I was really looking forward to hearing your guys' opinions on that, but I do agree with Alex. Some of it does seem, kind of out there. Completely plausible, but also, not plausible at the same time, if you know what I mean. But all right. Well, I guess I should make it worth noting that Alex did mention that one of the options for the Pizza Planet building was to have a new dark ride and also a new space-themed restaurant. I will say that Epcot is getting a space-themed restaurant, so that may or may not... I don't know how to word this. That may or may not give more merit, I guess, to the particular rumor about, a space-themed restaurant, table service restaurant going in that space. I feel like it'd be a great fit for Tomorrowland. But someone said, Carrie said that they'd rather have a ride than an upscale dining location in Tomorrowland, which I do agree with. But I don't know. One of the rumors of this that I am really looking forward to, if it does end up being true again, is having the Tron coaster surround the Astro Orbiter or the jetpacks, whichever, makes it through. I feel like that would be... I'm trying to picture it like at nighttime. I feel like that would be really awesome to look at. But then again, I don't know. I feel like the beauty of Tomorrowland, at least, the Tomorrowland of the past, was entering the land and seeing, the rocket jets up top on the pedestal up here, And seeing that, is like the first thing you see besides the people mover. And I feel like tucking it away in this backspace here would be kind of like a waste almost. That's just my personal opinion, but
you also have to remember that the people mover tracks there won't be there. So you'll have a direct view of it. And most likely it may be slightly elevated, like on a slight hill.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because some of the Tron ride will need to be slightly underground. So it's possible that if they put a spinner ride there, it's probably going to be a few feet off the ground. Just a few.
Okay, I can picture it now. I don't know, for some reason I was thinking way back here in the right corner over here would be where it was, but...
Oh, no. It would probably be like right smack dab in the center as what Walt would call the weenie that leads you into the land.
Yeah. No, I don't know why I was thinking right off on this side, but yeah, if they do put it right here, and I guess it depends on the way they designed the facade for the Tron coaster. But yeah, like I said, I feel like having the Tron coaster surround the rocket jets or the people or the jetpacks, I feel like that would be really awesome to look at.
Yeah, and like I was saying earlier, like what me and Matt were saying earlier, there were a lot of other ideas that we had heard about. But the reason why I chose the specific ones to talk about that I did was because the ones that I talked about were actually the cheaper ideas. And Disney is all about doing the cheapest thing. Some of these ideas included just complete demolition of Tomorrowland. And while that is always possible, Disney has the money for it. I think Disney would rather go with the cheapest options. So the ideas that I was hearing from these people, I was picking and choosing the ones that sounded most plausible. And the ones that sounded most plausible was the ones that included keeping the Star Tours building, but with a new ride, and keeping the Astro Blasters ride. So, yeah.
Yeah, very cheap. What else was there that you mentioned? Space Mountain? I mean, they'd be dumb to get rid of Space Mountain.
Ashley asks, what about the giant wet marble?
Oh,
well, I heard there is going to be a shrine built for it in tomorrow. No, I'm just kidding. Come on, a shrine. Anyway, no, I have no idea. Honestly, that thing is so damaged, they might just throw it out.
I'll take it.
To be honest.
If they're just gonna throw it out, I'll take it.
I'll take it too, honestly. But yeah, it's probably gonna go. But I wouldn't be surprised. Like, you see the Path of the Jedi building there. I wouldn't be surprised if that Path of the Jedi or Magic Eye Theater building will probably become the new indoor queue and pre-show for Space Mountain. I would not be surprised, because honestly, there is a door behind the stage inside that leads into the networking hallways of Space Mountain. So honestly, like, it would not be that hard to transform that whole indoor theater into a pre-show and queue for Space Mountain. And then imagine if you want to enter Space Mountain, you just go right smack dab into the center of the building. It's that easy.
Yeah, I feel like that'd be a really huge improvement over what we have now. Because what we have now is really confusing. If you've never been to the Space Mountain in Disney... Excuse me, if you've never been to the Space Mountain in Disneyland, it is very confusing as to where you actually get into the line of the ride. I mean, they have the sign right here, the Space Mountain sign, and then it's just sort of the Disney's just hoping that you'll assume to walk under here, and then off to the right is the Fast Pass distribution. But then from once you get in here, it gets kind of confusing. You see the tables off to the left for the Pizza Planet, and then the People Mover tracks. They might have covered them above you, but yeah, it is very confusing as to the whole layout of the queue itself is it's not good, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. So it would be nice to have, like Alex said, an entrance right here in the middle. I don't know, leading up to wherever the new queue expansion's going to be. Let's see.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm really going to miss the Observatron, though. I think they're making a mistake by getting rid of it. I think, God, it's just so beautiful. It adds so much life to the land. It's almost as if it was made to move, but it doesn't anymore. And that's what's so powerful about it, in my opinion.
It's amazing to think that is the original, rocket attraction from 1956. Like that is just
most people don't know that. I feel like, but this is. Oh, what did I just do? I went to Street View, but that's the original. Like Alex said, the rocket jets from. Oh my God, I'm all over the place here. From the 67 Tomorrowland. And
even before that, 1956.
Yes. And I don't know where I went. I'm on the coast somewhere. Here we go. I don't know how I ended up at the
Westminster.
beach. Here we go. Anyways, let's see. What else was there? Well, I guess we should talk about the Fantasyland stuff. I think we might have talked about it. I don't think we specifically talked about it, but it was in one of Fresh Bake's. I don't think recent. Maybe it was a couple months ago. Fresh Baked, Dave, in their weekly trip report, did mention that one of the, more outlandish rumors was to get rid of Snow White's Scary Adventures and Pinocchio and turn that into a Beauty and the Beast dark ride, which is kind of crazy if you think about it, because the Beauty and the Beast dark ride is way bigger than probably these two show buildings combined. And plus you'd be getting rid of 2 attractions for 1. I feel like that wouldn't be good for capacity. I don't know like the numbers specifically, but I mean it would. I don't know. I'd be happy with a Beauty and the Beast attraction, just not replacing these 2 attractions. Mr. Toad. I mean, what is there to say about Mr. Toad? I really don't have any feelings towards it at all. I don't have any negative feelings towards it. I don't have any positive. I do have one positive feeling towards Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. When I did visit Disneyland back in December, it was really cold. I didn't expect it to be that cold in California, but when I did end up getting really cold and in need of some warmth, I would get in the line for Mr. Toad and ride it a couple times because it is really warm in the hell scene. That got me all toasty, got me toasted up, ready to explore the rest of the park for the rest of the day. But yeah, I feel like is that all you mentioned? Let's see. Big fireworks show, projections. We talked about that last week as well. Yeah, I do feel like Snow White and Pinocchio do need big updates, because Peter Pan already got one, as well as Alice in Wonderland, and it was only a matter of time before Snow White and Pinocchio got upgrades comparable to those 2 attractions.
Yeah, I must add, the people who were telling me about the future projects were really, really adamant that those 2 rides are staying at Disneyland. So I think it had something to do with the fact that, first of all, the building they are in is too small to do anything else with when it comes to modern technology, as well as the fact that those 2 rides add a lot more layer and depth to the land. So, and because they're pretty much considered classics now, it's one of those things that they've become sort of untouchable. So
yeah. If Tony Baxter found them worth saving, I feel like they should be kept there for all eternity until they rot, and then they'll replace them, rebuild them from the ground up with new attractions identical to the originals. That's just my personal opinion, though. The Matterhorn bobsleds is staying. I mean, yeah, I can't really imagine why they'd get rid of the Matterhorn.
Yeah,
as well as how much money it would cost to do that as well. It'd probably be really expensive to completely get rid of the Matterhorn.
Yeah, they're not going to demolish the Matterhorn. The Matterhorn will probably have to be rebuilt by the year 2060. So, but other than that, I don't foresee it actually being fully demolished and removed.
Yeah, if anything, they might just refurbish the track a bit. That will probably be the extent of what goes on with the Matterhorn. Autumn said the Matterhorn beat me up. I know, I got beat up by the Matterhorn too. I got cornered in the dark alleys of Tomorrowland, and the Matterhorn was like, "Hey, give me your lunch money." And I said, "I don't have any lunch money. I'm broke. I don't have money to buy food at Disneyland." And the Matterhorn was like, "Okay, well then I'll just break your spine instead and then give you a concussion while I'm at it." And then he did exactly that. And then he went back to his spot up in between Fantasyland and Tomorrowland. And I haven't found a way to get him back.
Matt?
Yeah.
How many Snapples have you had on the show?
I don't know. I was like staring at this map, this Google Earth map, while I was like spinning it around, and I got like kind of motion sick. And like when I look at the map, I see it like swirling, but not when I look at anything else. Do you guys know what I mean? Probably not. I'm just gonna.
I think you're scaring the viewers, Matt.
Anyways, one time I got jumped by the submarine voyage in Utopia. Yeah, Tomorrowland, this area of Tomorrowland's kind of like a shady place, with the Matterhorn and the submarines. I mean, yeah, you just want to steer clear of that area of the park if you want to keep your lunch money as well as, your spine, and if you don't want to get a concussion. But anyways, let's see. I feel like is that all that we had to... Someone said something about Frozen Land. What happened to the Frozen rumor? Should we talk about the Frozen rumor, Alex?
Yeah, why not? I mean, everyone's talking about it, so what would it, why not? Okay, so remember how I was saying everything north of the monorail station will be completely demolished and become part of Fantasyland expansion or just expansion area? Well, the idea is to keep the monorail station where it is, but reroute almost all the monorail track within the Disneyland boundary. So that way the monorail loops around Tomorrowland from the south, heading north up to the monorail station. And then once you board the monorail, it will leave the park on its current route as is. So basically, the only monorail track north of the monorail station will be a switch track that will help it to go to the monorail roundhouse in the north of the property. Other than that, that would leave that entire area open to expansion. So there are a lot of ideas thrown around about what will go there. And the biggest idea, which even Fresh Baked is talking about, is bringing Frozen Land to Disneyland. And the idea is that they'll build a new mountain structure on the northeast side of the property that will actually encompass the Disneyland Railroad. So that way it will travel through, I don't know, like a cave or something. And the area in front of it will be a massive Anna and Elsa dark ride of some kind. And some of the rumors even say that the main outdoor lagoon of the submarine lagoon might just stay just for purely aesthetical purposes, just to make it help look more beautiful. And honestly, if I recall, Arendelle from Frozen was surrounded by a bay or water or something, if I recall correctly. Yeah. So it kind of fits and yeah. But anyways, so most likely that's what might happen. But no one is really sure if it definitely without a doubt going to be Frozen. Nobody knows. But I will admit it is a big factor that Disney is looking into to build a massive dark ride in that area. And it's quite possible the Disneyland Railroad might even pass inside of the dark ride and get views of it, just kind of the same way you pass through Splash Mountain and get views of it from the railroad. So that's that. Yeah, that I mean, that to me that sounds exciting. Like, it's interesting, and there'll be like a mountainous structure that looks like the mountain where Elsa built her ice castle, and likely that rock work will probably be pretty close to the Matterhorn. Not super close, so it dominates the Matterhorn, but close enough because basically everything behind it has to be a giant show building, right? So, I don't know. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here because I'm not much of an engineer. I mean, who knows? Like, the show building might look like Arendelle proper with the mountains on top of the show building in the background. I don't know. So anyway, that's kind of some of the ideas going on. There's another idea, like, what was the other land? There's another land planned for one of the Disney parks. I don't remember what are the lands that are planned for the Disney parks? Do you know?
There's Frozen. There's a Tangled area. There's like a Peter Pan area Tangled. Coming. Oh, okay.
Right. So, okay. So that was the other thing, was the idea was there might be like a Tangled land that might also use the submarine lagoon as the big lake that surrounds the kingdom, where her parents live. Or it could be like completely different. Like, it could be a great big valley with the Tangled Tower in the center, and then you enter the tower and you go kind of underground, sort of, and there's a dark ride beyond it, so that kind of thing. It's very likely that you're gonna see like a dark ride and maybe like an A, B, or C ticket ride in front of it. I'm not gonna say D because that's kind of like a big ride, but yeah, you might find like a spinner type ride outside, and then you'll find like an ticket dark ride or something. That's probably what can fit in that area. I don't want to say anything too extravagant because that area is about 7.5 acres in size, especially if you take out Autopia and possibly even Autopia's entrance queue. But yeah, so I don't know.
I think there was someone said put the Frozen castle on the Matterhorn, and I do believe that we did talk about it in the past. There was a rumor about putting like a miniature Frozen castle on the Matterhorn.
There was a rumor, and I didn't believe it for a second because I know Disney will not do it. They're not going to put Elsa's ice castle on the Matterhorn. First of all, because that would insult Swiss people. That will insult Swiss people a lot, and it would insult Disneyland fans a lot for obvious reasons. It's kind of like when people ride Storybook and they see Pinocchio's village and they go, "Oh, you see how the Matterhorn perfectly fits with the Swiss Alps in Pinocchio's village?" I'm like, those are not the Swiss Alps; those are the Italian Alps because Pinocchio lives in Italy. So it's like, Anyway, that was kind of, I'm sorry, I kind of blew up on you guys, but that's just one of those things that really bothers me when people call those the Swiss Alps. They're not, they are the Italian Alps. But anyway, yes. So yeah, supposedly if they do build Elsa's ice castle anywhere in the Frozen Land, it's going to be on its own mountain range. And that actually makes sense too, because they're going to need to remove all those trees from that area to build rides and stuff. And without those trees and without the berm behind it, you can easily see into Tomorrowland without those trees.
Yeah.
Because the freeway behind it has this huge overpass that is like 30 feet in the air. And if you just like look to your right as you're going down Harbor Boulevard towards Disneyland, you'll be able to see into Tomorrowland. So I think that they're going to want to build like this really big mountain structure that will prevent people from seeing inside Disneyland. So
yeah. There was something I wanted to add, but I can't quite remember what.
Maybe if you talk slower, it might come to
I
you.
can't quite. I don't remember what I was gonna say, but I guess this is all just a rumor, like Alex said. As far as we know, it could be 100% true. I guess the main question is, which do you think we'll see first, Tomorrowland or Fantasyland? Because that's been sort of the main debate these past couple years, because we know that Tomorrowland is eventually going to get a refurb as well as an expansion to Fantasyland. It's just a matter of which will come first, I think.
You know what I think? What I think is it's going to be just like I was reading to you guys a minute ago. There's like basically 2 phases to Fantasyland. The first phase will happen before Tomorrowland, and the second phase will happen after Tomorrowland. The first phase, of course, being the upgrades to Pinocchio and Snow White. The second phase being whatever expansion they plan to put to the east of the Matterhorn. So I think that's how that makes sense to me. I think that by next year, in time for Disneyland's 65th, they're going to want to have Snow White and Pinocchio looking their best.
Yeah, Ashley said Tomorrowland needs the refurb more than Fantasyland, but it's not really about which land needs it more. It's about which is cheapest, I guess. Which one will take up the least amount of resources, and then once they get the cheapest one out of the way, then they'll maybe go through with more of the expensive stuff, like the Tomorrowland refurb, and then, tearing out the entirety of Autopia and the submarine voyage and putting whatever ends up being there. See, it's not really about which needs it more, because obviously Tomorrowland does need the refurb more than Fantasyland does. Because like we were saying, all of this is it's just like dead space up here. With the Autopia and the submarine voyage, but Fantasyland doesn't necessarily need an expansion right now, but so that's that. I feel like it would be more plausible to replace all of the Autopia track, like we were talking about, with a Dumbo Land, maybe.
If you think about it, it's once again, this is after Snow White and Pinocchio get refurbished, because I'm very sure that's going to happen first. But I imagine that we're going to get a Tomorrowland overhaul before we get an expansion of Fantasyland. And here's why. If you don't put any money into demolishing Tomorrowland, how are you going to install a new land? You're going to have to move the monorail. You're going to have to move, you're going to need to, Disney's going to want to redo Tomorrowland, and the budget that will go into demolishing things in Tomorrowland will benefit the new land going into Fantasyland's expansion. So Jeffrey asks, when do you think Star Tours will go? My expert opinion is that late next year, I'm talking like maybe fall of next year, Disney may announce a official replacement of Star Tours. Because what we know for now is that while Galaxy's Edge opens and has its first year of operation, they're going to want to keep Star Tours open to keep capacity in the park as maximum as possible. But then at the same time, Disneyland's 65th anniversary is happening. And usually Disney either A, opens a new land or a new ride before a major anniversary, or B, announces the opening of a new land or attraction after the major anniversary. So I think in this case, it's going to be both. I think Galaxy's Edge will be the thing that opens before the anniversary, but then the announcement of the replacement of Star Tours will be the thing that happens after the anniversary, to keep people interested in Tomorrowland. And so, yeah, I honestly think that everyone thinks Star Tours is going to be moved to Galaxy's Edge, and I really, really, really don't think so, because because the only place to put Star Tours in Galaxy's Edge is right next to Smuggler's Run.
Yeah.
And honestly, that's like putting a shiny gold trophy next to a pile of poop. Like, what are you going to touch? You're going to reach for the trophy or something. You're not going to go and put your hands on the pile of poop. So,
unless
so
you
honestly,
like poop, but yeah, I agree.
Unless you like poop butt. Okay. Well, and you said poop butt. I'm laughing at that. Okay. So yeah. So honestly, I think that, and you know what? Which sounds more expensive? Moving the entirety of Star Tours to Galaxy's Edge, or keeping it where it is and just retheming it?
Yeah.
What sounds more expensive? So honestly, Star Tours, the simulators and everything are going to be there, but everything's just going to be refurbished and revamped with, a different look, different theme, everything. And I'm kind of rooting for, I was talking to a bunch of people, including Matt. I was talking to a bunch of people about, what they could do with the simulator. And I think, and this isn't just my idea, so whoever actually gave me this idea, if they're watching, it's not my idea. I'm giving you credit for it. But anyway, there was an idea that the simulators would be a ride that lets you either shrink down or expand to a larger size. It's basically like a shrinking / expanding ride. And the idea is that you could, for instance, shrink down to the size of an atom, just like Adventure Through Inner Space, or you could shrink down and go into a person's body, like Body Wars, or you could even expand and I don't know what you would expand for. What would you do? I don't know. Battle Godzilla? I don't know. But, so the idea is that it's a experience ride, just like Star Tours, where you could go to different destinations. In this case, you could either shrink down or expand to different sizes for different experiences every time you go on it. So, and that was interesting. It was like a combination, Honey, I Shrunk the Audience with Body Wars and Adventure Through Inner Space all in a simulator ride. So I just thought wow, that is really genius. Who would not want to ride that? So, to the person in the background shouting me, I'm going to say boo.
Plus, think of how much money Disney would make selling merchandise themed to Star Tours closing. A shirt with just the words Final Run and the Star Tours logo. Think of how hot those would sell. I mean, it's going to make a lot of money, I feel like, the merchandise that they end up coming up for when Star Tours eventually closes.
I know, there's going to be really dramatic merchandise, like a t-shirt that says "It happened."
Yeah.
Just really random stuff, I was there.
I was there on the last. Yeah. Anyways, there were more like we said, more outlandish rumors to go along with all this stuff, and again, like Alex said, this was the cheapest version of the rumor that we're telling you when it comes to Tomorrowland. So I guess there are other plans out there that we are deciding not. I guess I should say other rumors out there for Tomorrowland that are not necessarily just retheming a large portion of the show buildings, like Star Tours and Buzz Lightyear. Maybe we'll save that for a future episode. But anyways, I think that'll wrap that up. Alex, do you have any closing thoughts you would like to say regarding these Disneyland rumors?
Yes. To Disneyland Resort, please don't revoke my pass.
Yeah, mine too. Just kidding.
You don't have a pass?
Yeah, I don't have a pass.
Don't try to make people think you're popular, because you're not.
Oh my gosh, Alex caught me. Oh my gosh. I'd also like to point out right here, there's a 360 picture right at the compass here, but when you click on it, it's a 360 picture for Downtown Disney. And Disney, you can't let that stuff slide past you guys. You gotta get on top of this Google Earth stuff.
Oh, there's a 360 picture you should show everyone on the map right now.
Which one?
Go over to Tom Sawyer Island, and right where the tip of the not the tip of the island, but the tree house on the front of the island, there should be a 360 thing there.
It might be on the here. Let me switch to regular Google Maps. Maps.google.com. Is it one of the ones that Steve made?
Yes.
Let's see. Disneyland Park. Satellite. Hold on, let me switch scenes really quick. That's not the right one. Alright, give me 1 second to find it. Maybe I have to go into Street View. Oh, I can get directions. Guys, I can get driving directions to... Wait a minute. Hold on, let me switch this out. Let me close that and then bring this in to frame. Okay, so this is not the one Alex is talking about. Let's see if I can end up finding it.
Okay, well, while Matt looks for that, I'm going to tell you guys a funny story. So, oh wait, did you find it?
No. Wait. This might be
Oh,
right
no,
here.
sorry.
Let's see. This is A360. Oh, here it is. Steamboat Steve. Oh, this is I don't think this is the one you're talking about though. Wait, this might be.
No, that's not it.
Okay, well, we know that Steve has them here. I'll keep looking.
Okay, so while Matt looks
I
for
found
that...
it! Oh my god, look, there's Alex! Look, there's Alex. Oh my gosh.
That's right, you guys. I'm a destination on Google Maps.
Oh, we should add an attraction thing. Like one of those bubbles that you click on and it says Alex the Historian, and then you click on it and it shows this 360 picture. That's so cool.
Oh, I love it. Okay, so what was I gonna say? So Not the Killing Type asked me how was the women's restroom. I have a funny story for you guys. So I was at DCA yesterday, and I had to use the restroom. I was on Buena Vista Street, so I went to the restroom, and I'm so used to going to that bathroom that I didn't even look where I was going, and when I looked up as I was about to enter the restroom, this huge group of women came out, and I'm like, wait a minute, this is not I was like, that's weird, and so I looked up and the men's restroom was labeled women's, and I'm like, that's weird. This was the men's restroom. And I looked around and the men's restroom was in the place that the women's restroom used to be. And I was just so confused. So apparently within a matter of 2 weeks, in the past 2 weeks, Disney swapped the restroom. And I seriously almost walked into the women's restroom. And yeah, that was just really crazy. But anyway, I know a lot of people will be like, well, are you so certain that has all, that used to be the men's? Are you sure that it just wasn't always? I'm telling you right now, the restroom to the right was always the men's restroom. I know, because once you entered the restroom, the urinals were directly on your right-hand side, and there were these palm trees all over the tile walls. And as you stood there, you couldn't look at anything else but the freaking palm trees. But the restroom I had to go to had the urinals on the left side, and the entire decoration of the bathroom was completely changed. Why do I look like such a creeper in that picture? Jeez. I'm like, look at me. Look into my eyes.
My face when you accidentally walk into the women's restroom.
Totally.
the girls walk out.
Hey, ladies.
It's funny because you also have your camera in your hand as well.
Yeah, that's awful. That is just awful. Look into the camera, everybody.
Anyways, yeah. Funny story. Thank you for that, Mr. Alex, a historian. I think that wraps up everything. I feel like, for some reason, I feel like I'm forgetting something. Oh, I still do need to write my petition to Disney to replace the inevitable Frozen land with a Dumbo land. I feel like it has a lot of merit because, the live-action movie just came out, and everybody loves Dumbo, and he's the best. And he can never do anything wrong because he's the best. And yeah, I'll finish writing my pitch to Bob Iger, and I'll let you guys know how it goes from there. I've also not heard any updates regarding the rumor of Disney removing the crow scene from Dumbo for Disney Plus. So we'll still keep you updated on that as we hear new things. But yeah, I haven't heard anything new on that. Anyways, I feel like that is gonna wrap up this. What am I forgetting? There has to be something I'm forgetting. Let me look over my notes.
Yeah, I'll look over the notes too. I don't know if there was something you wanted to mention.
Oh, we do have a Matt Hosts Ghosts from Nate. This continuation from
Is that what you were forgetting?
I think that's what I'm forgetting, yeah. So we'll go ahead and get into that. But Alex, do you or do you not have to leave the stream currently?
I probably should, because okay. I'm over on time, but at the same time I think my sister's taking a nap, so it's not like I'm forcing her to be quiet because she might be asleep. So I don't know. I'll tell you what. You go ahead and start Matt Host Goes, and if I have to leave, I'll send you a message, and I'll just disconnect myself without saying goodbye to everybody, because that's why.
Okay. Let's see. All right, like I said, we do have Matt Hosts Ghosts for today, and this stupid program keeps resetting all my jingles. So we're going to get right into this week's Matt Hosts Ghosts.
Welcome to Matt Hosts Ghosts.
So spooky. Spooky dooky. Anyways. Alright, this is a continuation to The Revenge of Oink. This is chapter 1. If you missed the prologue, you can go back to last week's episode. And if you would also like to submit some spooky stories to us, whether they be true, maybe you were abducted by Bob Iger himself and were held hostage in his penthouse in Burbank at gunpoint, or maybe you just saw a ghost somewhere, you can do so by emailing me at ytmatterhornmatt@gmail.com. Send in all your true spooky stories, but we also accept, some occasional fan fiction like this. And since Nate is such an acclaimed writer from his original Oink series, we decided to include this as well. So like I said, this is chapter 1, and if you guys... Oh my gosh, guys, there's a ghost behind me. Oh my, it just disappeared right as I turned around. Did you guys see it? Anyways, we're gonna get into this week's Revenge of Oink. This is chapter 1. Let's get started. Wonders of Life, Epcot. One night, Bobby Iger and a group of Imagineers surveyed the abandoned Wonders of Life pavilion in Epcot to see what IP the company can cram in next. Bobby Iger said, "We might as well bulldoze this place to the ground and build something new. There's nothing here to use. No wonder why it was abandoned." An Imagineer says, "Maybe we can put an inside-out show in the Cranium Command Theater." Bobby Iger says, "What the heck is Cranium Command?" The Imagineer says, "Just follow me." Bobby Iger followed the Imagineers into the Cranium Command Theater, left abandoned over 10 years ago. The theater was dark and mostly intact. In the middle of the stage shone a bright light shining on something or someone. The Imagineers thought it was one of the leftover animatronics from the old show. It turns out the only light was shining upon. It turns out the light was shining upon. That's like not even me. That's just the sentence is worded like that. It turns out the only light was shining upon a bald man in a dark suit. The bald man had an angry look on his face. The Imagineer asks, "Who are you?" The bald man replies, "I overheard you talking. It seems you need help putting this place back on the map." The Imagineer replies, "We were looking to see what we could do with this place. We hadn't figured anything out just yet." The bald man says, "You know, I can help you get those turnstiles turning with very little money." Bobby Iger asks, "How?" The bald man says, "You have a vast library of IPs at your disposal. Just slap any character you want and add some pretty colors, and you have yourself a new attraction." Bobby Iger says, "I never thought of that. How can we slap a bunch of characters together in one space? You're a genius. What's your name?" The bald man says, "My true name is Oink, but you can call me Bob Chapek." Bobby Iger says, "Well, Bob, how would you like to work with the Walt Disney Company?" Bob Chapek replies, "I'd love to." And then Bobby Iger says, "Very good. You are now in charge of the parks and resorts." Oink is now free and is closer to getting revenge on Matterhorn Matt and the Mountaineers. That same night, Matterhorn Matt was editing a video for his channel when he saw a bright light shining through his window. The light got brighter and brighter as it came closer to his house. All of a sudden, the mysterious light blinded him as he heard a loud boom outside. He went outside to find a strange vehicle that had crashed in his backyard. He opened the vehicle to find an unconscious man inside. The man he found was the Imagineer, Tony Baxter. Matterhorn Matt yells, "Tony Baxter!" Matt took Tony Baxter in his house to help him. Matt says, "Mr. Baxter, are you okay?" Tony replies, "Where am I?" Matt says, "For some reason you crash landed in my backyard." And then Tony Baxter says, "Oh no, I'm sorry if I bothered you in any way." Matt says, "It's fine. I know this is an inappropriate time for this, but I admire everything you did for Disney." Tony Baxter says, "Wait a minute. Let me see your pins." Matterhorn Matt gave him his gold Matterhorn pin to Tony Baxter. Tony took out a piece of paper from his pocket and examined the pin. Tony Baxter says, "Where did you get this?" And Matterhorn Matt replies, "I made it for myself. You can keep it if you want." Tony Baxter says, "Your name is Matt, right? Do you make Disney videos?" And Matterhorn Matt replies, "Yeah, I'm Matterhorn Matt." Tony Baxter says, "You must be the leader of the Mountaineers. I've been told all about you. The fate of the Disney company is at stake, and we need your help again." And that's the end of chapter 1. I dig this so far. It's like a love story between Tony Baxter and me. I mean, I'm fine with that. Thank you, Mr. Nate, who may or may not be here in chat still, for continuing on this wonderful, wonderful, beautiful, wonderful saga of the Oink series. You guys can most likely tune in next week for Chapter 2. That is whether or not... That's up to Nate as to whether or not he sends me Chapter 2 within this next week. But, yeah. Oh, Nate says he was getting some cheese, so he's back now. Welcome back, Nate. Anyways, I feel like that is just about going to wrap up this episode of Matterhorn Mondays. We hope you all enjoyed this episode, and if you did... Let me switch back to this one. And if you did enjoy this episode, be sure to comment down below all your thoughts and opinions, I guess. All your thoughts and opinions on every single topic we talked about, whether it be the... We didn't really talk about much except for all the rumors. So whether it be the rumors that we mentioned, it's really the only thing that we talked about, and we will update you further as to when, or I guess how, the reservations for Galaxy's Edge will work. I don't think we'll be seeing those for the next 2 episodes. So stay tuned for Matterhorn Mondays, episode 88, to find out how you can specifically make your reservation for Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. And if you, not the killing type, asks if you didn't enjoy this episode. If you did not enjoy this episode, then Bald Chapek will find you in your sleep until he'll just eat you if you didn't enjoy the episode. But
you are so weird.
Is that I feel like, I don't know. I think, oh yeah, don't forget to buy my new Matterhorn matte super glue, my Matter glue. Links will go on sale. Links will be in the description this episode once it releases. If you break your favorite Disneyland mug, if you just want to prank your dad when he's sitting down on his office chair, and you just pour the super glue on the chair, and he gets his big butt stuck to the chair, and you can't get up. That's what this glue is for. Sniff, sniff. Yes, you can buy in bulk. You can buy up to 50 super glue. Oh, there we go. You can buy up to 50 of these 200 fluid ounce, I believe. Or maybe it's like 10 gallons, I think. 10 gallon super glue. Very compact for it's size, and also very cheap for its size. Like I said, you can email me. What was it? What was the email? matterglue@gmail.com. I don't remember. Anyways, we hope you all enjoyed this episode, and as always, have a great, big, beautiful tomorrow.